and welcome to This Date in History, also known as TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information comes from the smart device application Today in History, What Happened Today in History, Historical Calendar, and onthisday.com. For links to those sources, the music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar description below. Anyway, I am Xander.
I'm Spike. What's up?
And today is Tears Day, also known as Tuesday, May 10th, 2022. Why don't you start us off here?
All right. So, 28 BC. Damn, we went far back on this one. 2049 years ago. A sunspot is observed by Han Dynasty astronomers during the reign of Emperor Cheng of Han, one of the earliest dated sunspots observations in China. Damn, they were
Okay.
looking at the sun since back then.
Yeah.
1291. Scottish nobles recognized the authority of Edward I of England pending the selection of a king.
Hmm.
Damn, that shit skipped a couple years.
Yeah,
So
that's
we're like
a
at
bit of a
700,
time jump right there.
700 years back.
Yeah.
That's why I'm surprised they got records from 28 BC. Like,
Oh
what?
yeah, dude. Like, no, archaeology and all that stuff is really like broadened the horizon of historic,
And
stuff.
that's
It
in
was
China. They usually burn each other's shit.
more or less,
So,
yeah.
yeah, then we got 1291. Scottish. So the Scottish nobles recognized. Oh, yeah. So 1294, that's the next one. The Temur Kagan. Damn, that's a sick guy, though. Temur Kagan of the Mongols is enthroned as emperor of Yuan dynasty. Enthroned?
Maybe it's supposed to be enthroned because our source has done grammatical mistakes in the past.
What's enthroned? Like, that's like another way of coming in.
Enthroned, I believe, would be let me look it up to see if it's an actual word.
Like he
Number one,
inherited the throne, inheritance
uh,
throne. Like, I
enthroned
guess
is a word. It is to install, like a monarch on a throne, especially during a ceremony to mark the beginning of their rule. So basically, like the ancient
the
version of
first of the
swearing in the
first
president.
emperors.
It's like the ancient version of swearing in the president. Now it's official. That's the start of his term, the start of his reign. Stuff like that.
Ah,
Moving on
so
up
he's there.
into 1497, Amerigo Vespucci allegedly left Cadiz for his first voyage to the New World. And Amerigo Vespucci, as not many people know, is the guy who America was named after. So,
Amerigo.
yep, Amerigo Vespucci was the explorer that America, North and South, the entire New World, they had to give it a name, so they named it after
So
that
this
guy.
Italian that left the Spanish place went on a voyage to America.
I think,
Well,
yeah.
I'm fucking with you, but yeah, I think that's both Italian, right?
Yeah, because for a second I thought you were talking about Christopher Columbus, but he was Italian
I don't
who
know. I
did go
think,
to the
like, I
Spanish
know, I
right.
know, Spanish came here, but I think the Knights Templar came here before. I mean, if they were Italian, they're
Oh
around there.
well, yeah, the Templar might have definitely the Vikings though, with Leif Erikson and all that stuff.
Well,
Anyway, moving on to 1503. Oh, speaking of Christopher Columbus, he visited the Cayman Islands and named them Las Tortugas after the numerous turtles there.
I told you it was real, bro. I told you it was real. Like, dude, I did not know that he fucking went there too. That's crazy as shit.
Yeah, no, these explorers went all over the place, man. I mean, they're explorers. That's kind of their job, you know.
Man, I worked with somebody from Barbados.
Ah,
So he knows about that shit. I was like, what? All right, let's go
that's
next.
interesting. 1534, Jacques Carter visited Newfoundland. Okay, whoever that guy
Uh,
was.
all right, let's see. 1688, 334 years ago, King Nari nominates, what the hell? Fachada. Fet Ratcha as regent, leading to the revolution of 1688, in which Fechatra, whatever it is, it's hard to pronounce, but it's
Yeah,
Petracha becomes
Fitrusha.
king of, Eth- what the hell? King of Ayutthaya Kingdom. Damn, that was hard to go through.
Oh,
That's
dude.
Viking. That's Norse. That's gotta be Norse.
Uh, you know what? Let's see here. Plachada. Oh, actually, King.
Like you should have read that one. I should have read the Christopher Columbus one.
Well, let
That
me
was
look
way
up
easier.
the Ayutthaya Kingdom. No, that was actually what is that? Uh,
Swedish?
it's is that Thailand? There's
No way.
Cambodia.
What the hell?
Yeah, Thailand.
No
Um,
wonder he's got that cha in there.
yeah, the Ayutthaya Kingdom was Thailand, I believe. It's like the
All
first thing
right.
that popped up was what looks like Kuala Lumpur. So,
What they speak Indian over there? All right, take over for a bit.
yep.
I'll mute. Okay.
All right. 1768, rioting occurred in London after John Wilkes was imprisoned for writing an article for the North Briton, severely criticizing King George III. 5 years later, in 1773, the Parliament of Great Britain passed the Tea Act, designed to save the British East India Company by reducing taxes on its tea and granting it the right to sell tea directly to North America. This legislation led to the Boston Tea Party. The colonists are revolting. Why, yes, they are quite disturbing looking, aren't they? Not that kind of revolting, King. 1774, Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette became King and Queen of France. And we all know how that story ends. 365 days later, in 1775, during the American Revolutionary War, a small colonial militia led by Ethan Allen and Colonel Benedict Arnold captured Fort Ticonderoga. Well, unfortunately, Benedict Arnold became a traitor, so. But also in 1775, and also during this Revolutionary War in the Americas, the Second Continental Congress took place in Philadelphia. Interesting. Moving on up into 1796, War of the First Coalition, Napoleon won a victory against Austrian forces at Lodi Bridge over the Adda River in Italy. The Austrians lost some 2,000 men. So, yeah, Napoleon Bonaparte became so notorious in Europe that entire countries were declaring war on him. Not declaring war on France, declaring war on him as a human, as a thing. Like, that's when you know you're on the list. I thought we had Spike back for a second there, but apparently not. Anyway, 1801, during the First Barbary War, the Barbary pirates of Tripoli declared war on the United States of America. The pirates declared war? What? Okay, well, that's interesting. 23
All right,
year. Yeah,
where
hey,
we at?
welcome back. We are in 1824.
1824. Let's see how much time I got. That was funny. The little miner trying to buy a vape. I was like, I'm not gonna risk a ticket over you. Give me here. All right, so which one? 1824. The National Gallery in London opens to the public. Nice. 1833, a revolt broke out in South Vietnam against Emperor Minh Mang, who had desecrated the deceased Mandarin Le Van Duyet. Damn, that's fucking what?
Yeah.
Panic. 1837, Panic of 1837. New York banks suspended payments of specie, triggering a national bank crisis in an economic depression whose severity was not surpassed until the Great Depression. Damn,
Yeah.
that's fucked too. That's a long
Holy.
gap.
Dude.
Whoa, at least, hey, whoever had that paper, at least
Dude,
he cashed out.
crazy stuff happens every day in history, man.
But
It's.
till the Great Depression, like, come on, like,
Well, now we're living in a time that's even worse than the Great Depression. We have higher unemployment.
but
So,
isn't that over 100 years?
185
We have
for the.
unemployment because people took out how to like advantage and make money. What the hell? Like, it's not like we're like
Yeah.
the people that are unemployed are not all of them are suffering for money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In 1849, the Astor
Oh,
Place riot took place, in which a riot broke out at Astor Opera House in Manhattan, New York City, over a dispute between actors Edwin Forrest and William Charles McReady, killing at least 22 and injuring over 120. What the hell? That's wild. And I thought sports fans were crazy. 1857, the Indian Rebellion of 1857. In India, the First War of Independence began. Sepoys mutiny against their commanding officers at Meerut. 1865, during the American Civil War, in Kentucky, Union soldiers ambushed and mortally wounded Confederate raider William Quantrill, who lingers until his death on June 6. Well, that's interesting. I already know at least one important event that happened on June 6.
Shoot, my bad. You get scared.
What?
Oh, you guys heard that? Like, I hope not. You're gonna pick it over.
No, I just heard what you just said.
All right. Where we at?
1869.
1869. I'm gonna do three. But the first Transcontinental Railroad linking Eastern and Western United States is completed. Wait, what? Promontory Summit, Utah Territory, and the Golden Spike. Oh,
Yeah, East meets West.
yep,
Linked
that was
today.
the Golden Spike. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, take over for a bit.
All right. 3 years later, in 1872, Victoria Woodhull became the first woman nominated for President of the United States. Dang. 150 years ago. So, well, at least they got that far, but not far enough, in my opinion. 1876, the Centennial Exposition was opened in Philadelphia. And in 1881, Karl I was crowned king of the Romanian kingdom. I almost said Carol. Carol, C or K. I've seen Carol spelled with a C, so... Yeah, like Christmas carols, right? Yeah. 1899, a Finnish farm worker, Karl Emil Malman, murdered seven people with an axe at the Simola Croft in the village of Kalukala. Dang. Jumping on up into the next century, in 1904, the Horsch and Sur Motor Wagon Gurkey AG was founded. It would eventually become the Audi Company. Wow, 118 years. 4 years later, in 1908, which was 114 years ago, Mother's Day was observed for the first time in the United States in Grafton, West Virginia. Oh, cool. That's where the Grafton Monster is. Wait, coincidence? Maybe the Grafton Monster is somebody's mother-in-law, who never got their Mother's Day, and that's why she lost her head. I don't know. 1916, sailing in the lifeboat James Caird, Ernest Shackleton arrived at South Georgia after a journey of 800 nautical miles from Elephant Island. Wow. 1922, the United States annexed the Kingman Reef. Where's the Kingman Reef? You know what? I don't need to copy that. Kingman Reef. Oh, that's cool. But where is it? Kingman Reef. It's over there. Where is that? Oh, wow. Huh. Okay. That's interesting. Anyway, moving on up into 1924, J. Edgar Hoover was appointed first director of the United States Federal Bureau of Investigation, aka FBI, and remained so until his death in 1972. Wow, that's a long career right there. 24 to 72. 1933, censorship. In Germany, the Nazis staged massive public book burnings. 7 years later, in 1940, during World War II, German fighters accidentally bombed the German city of Freiburg. Good. Also in 1940, also during World War II, Winston Churchill was appointed Prime Minister of the United Kingdom following the resignation of Neville Chamberlain. On the same day, Germany invaded France, the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg. Meanwhile, the United Kingdom occupied Iceland. Yeah, well, history is going to repeat itself, as the Neville Chamberlain of old is the Joe Biden of today. So, and one would argue that the Winston Churchill of old is the Donald Trump of today. So, there's a whole theory going on about all that, World War II versus today, history repeating itself, a lot of countries occupying, the roles of other countries back in the past, Anyway, 1941, during World War II as well, Rudolf Hess parachuted into Scotland to try to negotiate a peace deal between the United Kingdom and Nazi Germany. I remember that. Well, I don't personally remember that. I'm not that old. Not yet. But yeah, I remember hearing about that. That's crazy. Also in 1941, the House of Commons in London was damaged by the Luftwaffe in an air raid. Okay, well that's not good. On the same day that this guy's trying to negotiate peace, Germany is shooting their shit. So it's just like, of course it's not going to work. 1 year later, in 1942, during World War II, the Thai Phayap Army invaded the Shan states during the Burma Campaign. 4 years later, in 1946, the first successful launch of an American V-2 rocket occurred at White Sands Proving Ground. It's the start of our space program right there. Moving on up into 1961, Air France Flight 406 was destroyed by a bomb over the Sahara, killing 78. Not good. To those who even survived, that hellish event, now they're in the desert, so great. 365 days later, in 1962, Marvel Comics published the first issue of The Incredible Hulk. 5 years later, in 1967, the Northrop M2F2 crashed on landing, becoming the inspiration for the novel Cyborg and TV series The $6 Million Man. 2 years later, in 1969, during the Vietnam conflict, the Battle of Dong Ap Bia began with an assault on Hill 937. This would ultimately become known as Hamburger Hill. And, now that I think about it, that sounds like a horrifying name because maybe people got turned into hamburger with all the machine guns. Frightening to think about. 1975, Sony introduced the Betamax video cassette recorder. Nice. The competitor to the cassette tape. Little cassettes. Everything. Kind of like how, it was VHS versus... There was two things. There was that disc, and then there was this other, larger VHS type thing, but it wasn't VHS. I don't remember. Anyway, 1993, in Thailand, a fire at the Cater Toy Factory killed over 200 workers. Ay, ay, ay. That's awful. 1 year later, in 1994, Nelson Mandela was inaugurated as South Africa's first black president. Good. Nice. 1996, a blizzard struck Mount Everest, killing 8 climbers by the next day. Yep, well, as I said before, everybody who's dead on Mount Everest was an extremely motivated person. So, yep. Motivation doesn't always lead to glory. 1997, the 7.3 MW Quayan earthquake struck Iran's Khorasan province, killing 1,567 people. Good lord. That's a lot. Moving on up into the next millennium, in 2002, just 20 years ago, man, has time flown, FBI agent Robert Hansen was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole for selling United States secrets to Russia for $1.4 million in cash and diamonds. 3 years later, in 2005, a hand grenade thrown by Vladimir Artyunian landed about 20 meters from U.S. President George W. Bush while he was giving a speech in a crowd in Tbilisi, Georgia, but it malfunctioned and did not detonate. And that guy, somebody threw shoes at him, he choked on a pretzel, God wanted him there for some reason. I don't know why. Didn't get my vote, not the second time at least. In 2012, the Damascus bombings were carried out using a pair of car bombs detonated by suicide bombers outside a military intelligence complex in Damascus, Syria, killing 55 people.
I'm back.
Hey,
last one.
Yo, you want to take the last 3 articles here? Perfect.
Yeah. 2013, One World Trade Center becomes the tallest building in Western Hemisphere. What? That was in 2013?
Yeah.
That was the new one that they built, right?
Yeah.
And then after that was Dubai. But this is when it was the biggest, so this is the day.
Well, no, the Burj Khalifa is on the Eastern Hemisphere.
Oh.
So this is like the tallest on the Western Hemisphere. But the Burj Khalifa...
Oh, that makes sense.
I think the Burj Khalifa was built before this, but let me check this out. Burj Khalifa. Um, it opened January 4th, 2010. So yeah, it was 3 years before One World Trade Center.
Oh man, May 10th. Ooh, that was right before COVID. Syrian Civil War, the Syrian Democratic Forces (SDF) captured the last foothills in the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant ISIL in Alta Altabka, bringing the battle to Tabka to an end. My bad if I said it wrong.
Yeah.
Tabka. I'll get a Tabka. Tabka.
And this is
So then,
today. So this is not last year or anything. This happened today. This next one.
right. Oh, this happened today?
Today.
Oh, we got some recent breaking news, man.
Yeah,
All right.
today. Breaking
Sound
news.
alarm, dog. You know? This is where the effects come in like blink, blink.
Yeah.
So, hey, I mean, is it something to celebrate? Hopefully. Queen Elizabeth II misses the state opening of Parliament for the first time in 50. Whoa. That's not good. For the first time in 59 years. It was the first time that in a new session of Parliament was opened jointly by the Prince of Wales and the Duke of Cambridge acting as councillors of state. Whoa.
Dang. Well, she has
That's
been having
pretty
some health problems.
that's pretty heavy for breaking news. Damn.
Yeah.
So this means that the Queen didn't decide not to show up.
Yeah, well, she's been having some health problems recently. Like, remember, she is like 100 some odd years old, you know? Like,
Ooh, what?
yeah.
Oh, dude, we're talking about. Wait,
Yeah.
but she doesn't. Didn't the prince take over though?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to that crap. Like, those are politics of a country I have nothing to do with. So, you know.
Huh?
Before we get into births and deaths, any articles grab your attention today?
Yeah, the one that just came up. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. The FBI agents. What? Robert Hassan. 2002.
Yeah.
The U.S. secrets of Russia. Whoa.
Yeah.
14 million in cash and diamonds.
1.4, not 14. 1.4.
He was only FBI. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, what's up? Oh, yeah. I guess those are the only two.
Also,
Oh, and then the very first one.
Nelson Mandela was inaugurated today as the first black president in South Africa.
I thought that was like yesterday.
No.
Mandela effect. Ooh.
Yeah, I know, right? Dude, I was trying to explain the Mandela effect to my dad. He never heard about it.
Yeah, because supposedly some people remember him dying in prison. Some people remember him that he's still alive. Like,
yeah. Well, obviously he was still alive. You know, he became
and
president.
some people don't remember that gap.
Yeah. Well, that's like maybe two different realities like crossed paths
around 2000, around 2010 to 2012. No, it was more. It was like between. I think it was 2012. Did you notice something changed in your life that you can't explain? But you remember it to be something else.
Yeah, like the Berenstein Bears.
No. Something personal.
Oh, you're
like
asking...
I bullshit you not. Like I had a number and I remember going to the store with my friend to switch his phone and we had like a temporary number we were gonna use and they were gonna hit me back up when I could use the other one. And for a while I was using a different number and all of a sudden that number didn't exist and I remember putting the number in my wallet. So I was like, if I was telling my ex, like, if this fucking post-it note is not in my wallet, then I'm tripping, you know. And I look at my wallet and it wasn't there, dude. I was like, whoa, and I could do that. Like that was the only time where I felt like, okay, there was a glitch, or I'm gonna pretend like this never happened, you know.
Oh, that's trippy, dude. That's creepy. Fuck.
Yeah, like it just. And I'm like, I'm being completely honest about it. Yeah. I may or may not, like, probably I'm just like, imagining I had a bad dream. I don't know. Maybe. But that's the only thing that I can remember, like, whoa. And then around that time is when all this shit started happening.
That's insane.
Where, like, Starbucks was a different color, Chase was a different color, like, you know?
Yeah.
And that's when the fucking Hydrogen Collider was that's when they were doing experiments with when they're smashing particles.
Ooh, so you think that we, like, maybe, like, eclipsed into another reality or something, opened a portal, or
And that's when the whole Trump beef started. Like he knew exactly. Like, dude, like I kind of feel like he knew what to say. Like I'm not getting into it. Like, but I'm just saying, like it sounds pretty weird that he knew exactly what to say to get the crowd.
Yeah.
And then he is the owner of Tesla documents.
Yeah. Well, let's get back on track here. Let's in
Hey,
bursts.
one more though. The 28th one, the
This one.
very first one, the sunspot.
Oh yeah, that one, 28 BC. Yeah, that's incredible. They have
Like that, we have documents that far
yeah.
back.
Well, I mean, it was probably written in like hieroglyphics on a wall somewhere. Like
But we do the astronomers to know that in a sunspot in
yeah.
China, 28 years before Christ. That's pretty well, pretty far killer history that we know
Yeah.
back.
Well, we have some articles that have gone thousands of years BC. Like about a week ago, we had something like in 1208 BC or something. Like 3,000 some odd years ago, and it had something to do with some pharaoh, in Egypt. So.
But we're talking about space, bro. This is an
Yeah.
astronomical object.
Yeah.
like, it's pretty like, dude, these fools knew how to look that far. That's pretty weird.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it's amazing what science has been able to do. Like you can based off of
Right.
observing the sun, and its patterns, you can to a certain degree accurately predict, how it would be in the future, and then by extension, accurately, portray what it was in the past. So, like, if there's an actual, like, in hieroglyphics or in ancient text or something, it talks about an eclipse or something, we can actively use, these computer, algorithms and whatnot, and then actively see the cycle go back and be like, hey, we have it here, it's confirmed, this is right, it's true, it did happen all this time. Like, it's amazing.
So you think they were just that smart that they told people to build a building so that when they see a snake, that means that there's gonna be eclipse? Like that's pretty trippy. They're that
Yeah.
accurate to this date. Like,
All brought to you by a people who thought the god Ra put the sun
like
in
I'm
a
just saying,
canoe
is that a
and
reason for
carried
them
it
to do
across
this?
carried it away at nighttime until the next morning.
Let's go to this big ass sundial, bro.
I know, right?
And
Well,
let's let it point every time when we throw festivals and we don't. Like,
let's get back on track here. In verse here, starting us off in 874, we have Min Ji Ziang, a Chinese general and emperor. You gonna take the next one, or do you want to do
oh
the 3
shit!
by 3 again?
All right, I'm scrolling. Cause I scrolled all the way up. I was like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Damn! Why you gave me the freaking hard ones? Al Aziz Billah, Fatmidi Calfin. What is that?
Fatimid Caliph.
Fatmid Calfin.
Calvin? He's a dolphin.
He's a dolphin. He's a fat dolphin
He's a fat dolphin.
thing. Nice.
1727, and Robert Joaqua Turgot Benton de Laun,
Finally, you get a hard one.
French economist and politician.
Claude Joseph Rouget de Lisle. Yeah. French captain, engineer, and composer. Oh, that's fucking sick. Kind of like me. Only I'm not French.
Yeah. In 1838, John Wilkes Booth, the American actor who murdered President Abraham Lincoln, born on this date. So,
You that dude. He was an actor?
yeah.
So he acted his way into his freaking room?
Well,
and then...
no, he was an actor and he was known at that theater, so that's how he got into the back rooms and, was able to sneak up right
Oh, I
behind the
think, yeah, he was
president,
going to say hello or something.
maybe, yeah, like, or something like that, but he had, VIP access because he was, an actor.
Yeah.
So that's how he got up there.
1847. William Plain. Why you give me all the other ones? This is German, right? Wilhelm Killing, German mathematician and academic.
1899, Fred Astaire, American actor, singer, and dancer.
1901, John Desmond Bernal, Irish English crystallographer and physicist. Crystallographer. Oh, he logs crystals.
Yeah, crystallographers study diverse substances from living cells to superconductors, from protein molecules to ceramics.
Hey, he might be someone to look into.
Yeah, crystallography began with the study of crystals like quartz. Today, crystallographers study the atomic architecture of any material that can be from any ordinary solid, from diamonds to viruses.
Yeah, because diamonds could be used as batteries, like for life.
Yeah, my cousin is actually basing his doctorative thesis off of the use of crystalline, structures as a power source or amplifier or something like that.
We
So,
just gotta get like drones to fucking do that for us because it's plutonium, bro.
oh man,
So radiation waste actually acts like a good battery for life. Like you can put a diamond battery made with plutonium in it, and like it'll work for your battery for life. Like you never have to charge it again. Like
maybe that's why it's not on the market. Once they sell one, it's done. So,
yeah, but eco waste is done. That means like we just built sufficient systems and that not waste so much shit.
yeah, well, they can't make a profit off of that, can
Like
they?
imagine silicon fucking, you know, caves and shit. They're causing all this damage, waste, right?
Yeah,
Electric, what is it, solar energy? So
yeah,
I don't know, man. Just
I
need to
don't
build a
know.
drone and we'll put the plutonium in the diamonds. That's the only hard part. No
Yeah,
human's gonna do that.
yeah. Well, some might, but they won't be around for long. So,
Like, oh, but your family's gonna get well treated.
yeah. Anyway, 1905, Marcos Vamvarakakis was born on the States. He was a Greek singer-songwriter and bouzouki player, and that's where the term bazooka actually comes from. Before they actually had an actual name for it, and I saw a video about the bazooka not too long ago. Um, was somebody said, "Hey, it looks like a bazooki," like just like an instrument. So bazooki, bazooka, a little bit of trivia there
I'll
for you.
take over for a bit. I got a couple customers.
All right. 1957, Sid Vicious, an English singer, bass player, and I believe he was a murderer. Not entirely sure. Sohan's the one who knows about that. And last but not least, at least, 1960, Bono, an Irish singer, songwriter, musician, activist, and former record for being the largest piece of shit in the world. He was defeated by Randy Marsh. Moving on to the deaths, in 1299, we have Thing Paddy, heir to the pagan kingdom. 1403, Catherine Swynford, a widow of John of Gaunt. In 1482, Paolo del Pozzo Toscanelli, Italian mathematician and astronomer. 1493, Colin Campbell the first Earl of Argyll, died on the States. He was a Scottish politician who was a Lord Chancellor of Scotland. 1566, Leonhard Fuchs, a German physician and botanist. 1726, Charles Beauclerc, 1st Duke of St. Albans, was an English soldier and politician who was a Lord Lieutenant of Berkshire. 1774, Louis XV of France. 1794, Elizabeth of France was a French princess and youngest sibling to Louis XVI. That's a little interesting right there. 1798, George Vancouver, English navigator and explorer. Vancouver was named after who? George Vancouver. This guy. Okay, so my pardon me, my suspicions were correct. So, whose namesake lives on Vancouver, Canada, or Vancouver? Yeah. Via Canada. In 1807, we have Jean-Baptiste Donatien de Vimeur, Comte de Rochambeau, a French general. 1818, Paul Revere, the British are coming, the British are coming. He was an American engraver and soldier, passed away on this date, and that is unfortunate. 1863, Stonewall Jackson, American general. He got shot by friendly fire 3 days prior. We talked about that, and that rhymed. That was interesting. 1889, Mikhail Saltykov Sishidurin was a Russian journalist, author, and playwright. 1994, John Wayne Gacy died, thank God. He was a U.S. clown and serial killer. 2000, Dick Sprang, a U.S. illustrator. That sounds like a rapper name or something. 2001, Sudhakaro Naik, an Indian politician who was a governor of Himachal Pradesh. 2002, Yves Robert died on this date. He was a French actor, director, producer, and screenwriter. And last but not least, in 2003, we have Milan Vukcevic, a Serbian-U.S. chemist and chess player. And that concludes the show. Once again, check the underbar for the links that you may be interested in, which also includes, Stoen's Twitch, Stoen's TV, or Stoen TV on Twitch. Why can't I get that right? And all things Omni Coalition and stuff like that. For your dose of past events daily, we stream every day between 12 noon and 3 p.m. Pacific time, which is also 2 to 5 Central. Any other time zones, I'm not, you can look it up. Anyway, for all of you and all of us, I am Mayo Xander. I was joined sporadically today by Spike Verde. Stoen has a headache, and Muffin is at work. Don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Until you see us tomorrow, toodles! Let's go, Brandon.